Assalamualaikum friends, welcome to this interesting session on JavaScript. So what is JavaScript? We just need to know what are web pages or web apps. A web app is something that is available on web or in internet. So whenever we see the internet, what comes to our mind is nothing but the browser. Whenever we open a browser and hit a link on the browser, what gets on the screen is a web page. A web page that is hosting on a browser that's shown by the browser to us is called as a web page. This web page shows us the data that we want to see from where the data comes up. Most of the time it comes up from the server. So as you can see here, we have a browser and server, both of them talking to each other. Whatever coding that we do on the server side, it's called server side programming, and whatever coding that we do on the browser side is called a client side programming. So JavaScript is a client side scripting language and not a server side scripting language. Okay, JavaScript is a client side server language. Sorry, client side scripting language, not a server side scripting language. So what we are learning is on left hand side. Here though, we know that where we have placed our JavaScript, how we will write a JavaScript code to write a JavaScript code. What do we require is nothing but an HTML file. What is an HTML file? Ultimately, we have to see our page on the browser, and browser understands only markup languages. HTML is one such markup language which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So here is the browser, and as you can see here, parser. So here is the browser parser inside, which reads an HTML file. Now, how do we write this HTML file? To write this HTML file, we just have to open up a notepad or Sublime text editor, right? I'm just opening the Sublime text editor. So here is my Sublime text editor. Create the new file and save it on as per rules that are defined. Okay. New file, and I'm just saving. Save this file with an extension as either .html or .htm. Okay. So name is static.html. So why we are learning about this HTML file? Because HTML file is the host for JavaScript code. If we want to place our JavaScript code, we need to have an HTML file. Because without HTML file, we cannot try to write a JavaScript code, or other we cannot see what is happening in the JavaScript code. It's look like a host for our JavaScript code. So our JavaScript code, which we will be learning, will reside in this HTML file. We have in short understood that we are now concentrating only on the client side programming. Secondly, we want to type in the code that is JavaScript code. For that, we need to have an HTML file. So let's start creating our first HTML file. So how do we write an HTML code? We should know the basic structure of HTML. There are many videos of HTML that are available on my YouTube channel. You can go and watch. Remember, those videos are available in Urdu language. Okay. So let's start. I'm just starting. Okay. Every tag in HTML has two parts, start tag and end tag. And whatever we write with it, it is its content. So basically, an HTML tag has two children, head and body. Head and body. Okay. Head is that child which concentrates on the title or how the header of this file will look like on the browser. Whereas body is that child which concentrates on the complete page that we will see on the browser. We will have to save this file with the extension as .html. Okay, we have also saved it. If you notice, after saving this file, the icon of this page changes. It makes us sure that this is an HTML file. As you can see here, when I click on this file, it will open in the browser. If you keep writing sub-element in the body part that will be shown on the browser, what elements are present in HTML? You can see a button, you can see something like input box, we can have a paragraph, etc. So there are many elements that we can write on HTML file. So when I save this file, and try to refresh this file, I will see a lot of things. I have seen an input, a button which is clickable, and this is a static paragraph that I can see. So these are all elements I can fit in the body part. Now, whenever I create my HTML file, it's most of the time a static file. What do you mean by static? Whatever I add on this HTML file will be shown on to the browser. There is nothing extra or there is nothing that will work at the runtime or dynamically. That cannot happen. If I have a plain HTML file, and that's where the need of JavaScript comes. Whenever we use JavaScript in an HTML file, we add that dynamicus to the HTML file. So as you can see that this is a static paragraph. This is what I have written. I want to write something like my name is ABC. So here, I will have to give all the data to this HTML file, then only that file will render it. When I save it and refresh this file, that's why I call this HTML as a static thing. Whatever I add into the body part, that will be rendered, and that's why we want to add something called as JavaScript. So what is the JavaScript without any additional libraries? JavaScript is also called as vanilla JavaScript. It is a language which is case sensitive language. It is a programming language or other to be a very specific. It is called as a scripting language which helps us in making interactive web pages or like adding some dynamicus to the web page. How it is interpreted? So it is interpreted and executed on the client machine that is on the browser. It is used as the default scripting language for HTML page. This particular language reduces the load on the server as some operations are done on the client side. Let me give you an example. You have a web page which takes up two numbers and gives you the summation of two numbers. If you have this data of two numbers, you need not go to the server and tell the server that please add these two numbers and give me the result back. Because JavaScript is a client-side language which can take up these two values, calculate the values and show the result to the end user. So that's how you have lessened down the burden. Since JavaScript is rich in operators and loops, things which are possible to be worked with on the client side. We can do all those tasks using JavaScript, thereby reducing the load on the server. History of JavaScript. It was first developed in 1995 and 1996, 7 up to till 1999. Okay. Previously, this JavaScript was supported by only some specific browsers, but nowadays this is supported by many browsers or other all browsers initially. Here, as you can see, there is a word Java in JavaScript, and many times we start feeling that okay, they are something related to each other, but nothing. No, that's not. Both are not related to each other. There are many differences between them. As you can see here, Java is an object-oriented programming language, but JavaScript is an object-oriented programming scripting language. It runs on virtual machine or browser, but JavaScript जो है वो run only on browser. Okay, Java language. The code in Java language is compiled before execution. The code in JavaScript code is interpreted just in time, compiled before execution. It is static type checking, and in JavaScript, dynamic type checking. Okay, this is the main difference between Java and JavaScript. So where we can use JavaScript? We can use JavaScript in gaming, mobile applications, server-side scripting, or client-side scripting. Nowadays, JavaScript is booming up a lot and it can be used in all these fields. This language is very popular language. It's ranking in most hated language or also in most loved languages. So that's the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and wait for part 2. Thank you.